It's official, smartwatches can make for stupid drivers. While Australia's states and territories largely lack device-specific laws that deal with using smartwatches behind the wheel, fiddling around with your favorite tech while driving can nonetheless land you a hefty penalty, and put you at risk of a crash. Mostly, smartwatch offences mimic mobile phone use for motorists, all under the umbrella of distracted or inattentive drivers. Read more. Extraordinary scenes as massive storm lands in Florida. Here's how the issue is dealt with, state by state. New South Wales. Currently there are no road rules in NSW that specifically address smartwatch use. But when a smartwatch is worn by a driver, it must not be used for text messaging, video messaging, emailing, social media or similar communications while operating a vehicle. If a smartwatch is used for these mobile phone functions while operating a vehicle, mobile phone rules apply, a Transport for NSW spokesperson said. Read more. Can you get more than one ticket for parking in a spot too long? Simply taking your eyes off the road for longer than 2 seconds, the time it takes to read a message, doubles the risk of a crash. Breaching mobile phone use laws will net an offender a loss of 5 demerit points and a $362 fine. Victoria advises drivers to avoid using smartwatches while driving. When a smartwatch is worn by a driver, it should not be used while driving for making or receiving phone calls, navigation, music, text or video messaging, email or social media, VicRoads says on its website. Smartwatches can also be used if the driver does not touch anything on the smartwatch. For example, making and receiving calls needs to be hands-free via Bluetooth or similar means, and that it is secured in a commercially designed mounting affixed to the vehicle. This may be unavailable. Read more. What stores are open on the October long weekend public holiday? Laws on mobile phone use in Victoria also apply to smartwatches. Drivers who break the law face an on-the-spot fine of $484 and will incur 40 demerit points. Queensland. In Queensland, it is not a specific offence to use a smartwatch while driving, but anything that distracts a driver still attracts penalties. Smartwatches are a major distraction for drivers and police can still charge a driver with driving without due care and attention, a Transport and Main Roads spokesperson said. We have mobile phone and seatbelt detection cameras across Queensland. The cameras detect illegal mobile phone use and failure to wear a seatbelt by both drivers and front seat passengers but are not used to enforce offences relating to smartwatches. South Australia. The state follows the Australian road rules around visual display units or VDUs, a category that includes smartwatches and other wearable computers. Under those rules, it's an offence to have a VDU operating in a moving vehicle, or a stationary vehicle that is not parked, if the screen is visible to the driver. Western Australia. The rules are similar here to those in South Australia, with exceptions for driver's aid uses such as navigating. However, the smartwatch must be mounted rather than on the wrist. Breaching the rules brings a $300 fine and 3 demerit points. Using mobile phone functions such as making calls or texting while in a moving vehicle incurs a far heftier penalty of a $1,000 fine and 4 demerit points. Tasmania. Smartwatch use in Tasmania can be penalised as an inattentive driving offence. Driving without due care and attention can be punished with a $173 fine and 3 demerit points. Northern Territory. Drivers can use smartwatches to make a phone call only if they don't have to touch any part of the device to do it. A penalty of $500 applies for VDU offences. Australian Capital Territory. The same laws in the Act govern mobile phone, tablet, and smartwatch use while driving. They can be used under certain circumstances, if the device is secured and mounted, and the driver doesn't touch it, to make phone calls, play music, or navigate. But accessing the internet, checking text messages and other activities can bring a fine of between $487 to $100 Tishat Thamani Yacht, and a loss of 3 to 4 demerit points. Optus Data Leak. What do I do if my details have been hacked?